It is a new knife day, and today we're going to be talking about the Kubey Leaf. Now, this was sent to me by Kubey to check out before they release it on Amazon, and I thought we'd go ahead and talk about it. So, let's get some stats on it first. This is going to be almost exactly a 3-inch blade, just a little bit under, which is great. So if you have restrictive blade laws, you'll be able to carry it no problem. It also has a truly insane drop shed action. I mean, they always get this right. They really do. Kubey is just so good on their action. And this is no exception to the rule. It is a liner lock with hollowed out liners. It has stainless steel standoffs here. An interesting lanyard section. We'll talk about that a little bit. Pocket clip, deep carry with recessed screws. At least they did that well. And a couple little features, just a little bit of finishing, nice little finishing here. Just an overall nice knife. It even has T8 body screws, which I always appreciate. Just good stuff from Kubey as usual. Okay, but I have a lot of things to talk about with this knife. And we're going to try to do comparisons to other knives in the brand itself. So another thing on the good side, they have basically perfected this combination of top flipper, front flipper. So when I say top flipper, you're pulling it over the top like you would be, lighting a Zippo kind of thing, right? Pulling it across. And the front flipper would be like taking the thumb and doing that. So it has enough surface area to do a lot of different openings with the top, and it's hard to fail, which is great. But it doesn't have any other form of opening. That's not usually a problem, but it feels like this knife is screaming for a fuller, right? I would love to be able to reverse flick this thing. I can almost do it already. It kind of feels like it was missing that little piece. That is something that I feel. Also, I want you to pay attention carefully to how this knife really wants you to hold the knife. How it wants you to be held. Look. See how it kind of falling off the backside here? And there's like, this isn't my normal way of gripping a knife unless I'm definitely pull cutting or draw cutting on a regular basis. I like to hold the knife like this. I like to hold the knife around it if I need to put a little bit more force. I like to pinch grip it. There's just different ways. And I also like to be able to reverse grip the knife if I'm really starting to put some effort into it and want to remove, like, say, a lot of wood from a stick or something like that. And it does come up. I like to mess around in the wood there every once in a while just because I like the enjoyment of cutting with a knife. I know, maybe I'm a weirdo. Probably not to anyone watching this video, but yeah, to the average person that might seem a little weird. Now, I do also really like the color combination. Fits really well into a lot of different gear that I carry, which is the red and black type. They come in a lot of other colors as well. Now, for a second here, let's talk about AUS 10. Now, AUS 10 in and of itself is not a bad steel. It's not a bad steel. It's definitely way above AUS 8. It's going to be, give or take, a little bit better than 9CR18 MOV. It's going to be potentially worse than 440C, depending on how 440C is heat treated. Okay, it will be a little tougher than 440C, just a little bit, but 440C will have better edge retention. Now, when you talk about the next set of steels, such as D2, 14C28N, and then, of course, very similar to this, Nitro V, then it starts to fall off. See, D2 is definitely going to be more corrosion resistant, but it's not going to have the edge retention of D2, right? And it's not going to have any properties that are going to beat 14C28N at all. Not even a little bit, okay? That's not my opinion. You can take a look at some stats on these steels, and it's pretty clear that AUS 10 is still falling behind in that regard. And yet, these two knives, the 14C28N Hide and this, the Leaf, are identical in price at $70. I'm not sure why they're doing that, personally. I think a little more research, it would become quite clear that 14C28N is already pushing it at the $70 price point. That's the same price point you can get a Kaiser with incredible action and materials in 154 cm, a true mid-range to premium steel. So at $70, it's got to be really, really good. And I don't know, honestly, if the incredible action is enough to overcome the shortcomings of the small handle, or this really weird detail they have where they eliminated parts of the handle to accommodate a lanyard hole. If there is one thing that I despise, it's when a good design is messed up purposefully for something I never needed in the first place, which is a lanyard hole. I don't mind it if it's just kind of there, right? This didn't affect the knife. See, like, this didn't affect the ergonomics in any way. But this definitely does. It takes away from the handle, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. This is a weird knife. It's a cool shape, no question. It's a nice, thin, slicey profile. It has ridiculous action. It's cool. Am I going to spend $70 on this knife when I can buy the Hide, which is from the exact same brand, which has a true four-finger grip with plenty of space to spare, ability to choke up if needed, a multiple deployment method, top flipper, front flipper, reverse flick, thumb flick, you name it, right? It's more fun to fidget with. It's got a better steel and more handle real estate. So within its own brand, it's already not competing well. Forgetting Kaiser and the fact that they're making incredible knives in 154 cm at 70. This is already not a good comparison for this Leaf. And I don't have a problem. I know that Kubey OEMs and works with designers, and these are from two very different designers. I don't know who this is exactly. And I'm actually not fully familiar with who this designer is either. And I know they want to accommodate and build knives for different people. That's great. But they probably should have mentioned at least to this designer that maybe they should stick to something like 14C, so at least it's a one-to-one comparison. I don't know if I can get behind this particular knife at this price point. I think where I want to see something like this is around $50, not $70. And I say that where I also repeated in my review of this, which is fantastic and has all those deployment methods, I wanted this at 62. Okay, so these both needed to come down to be truly competitive in the market, but this knife really doesn't make sense to me. And at 60 right now, which should be 50, is the Kubey Royal, which is a fantastic front flipper and has that same drop shut action. Not to mention incredible ergonomics. It might even be, I wonder. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I like them both. I don't know which one's better. I like them both in ergonomics, to be honest. But yeah, the Leaf is not ergonomic. It doesn't allow for multiple grips that are particularly comfortable. Reverse grip is very strange. This is kind of weird, to say the least. And the pinch grip just doesn't quite feel right. I don't know. I want to like it because I like the color scheme. The quality is already on point. It usually is. But there's just something up about this that doesn't quite sit right at the $70 price point. That's just my personal feelings. Now, if you think I'm wrong or I'm being too harsh, let me know down in the comments. Is this something you would spend $70 on in Austin? Anyway, I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk again soon.